17th President of the Tuskegee National Alumni Association, Reverend James P. Quincy III.
We might need some technical support. Good morning. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me see. Let's try this. Glad to see you again. I haven't seen you since I don't know when. We are the Crimson Piper Band. We are the best band in the land. Amen, amen. Good morning, everyone. I want to greet all the Golden Tigers in the room who are here to support us and those who are gathered to be with us. I am James Quincy. I'm a 1990 graduate of Tuskegee, bachelor's degree in political science. I also served as the 25th president of the Student Government Association and now serving you as the 17th president of the Tuskegee National Alumni Association. I want to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to all of you for being here today and for your dedication and hard work. Has this been an amazing conference so far? I want to say a word of thank you to these local leaders, the president of the Philadelphia Club who is hosting us. Would you please stand so we can give you a round of applause? To your dynamic regional director, Director Barbara Cleveland. I'd also again like to acknowledge the national officers that are here with us. First Vice President Jerry Johnson, who drove 11 hours from Peoria, Illinois to be here with us. To our Second Vice President, the dynamic duo from the Washington, D.C. Tuskegee Club, Adrian Cooper. To our executive director, Ms. Kim Woodard. And to your director, who is also on the executive board, Barbara Cleveland. So last week I was in Columbus, Georgia for the Southeast Regional Conference. And a few weeks before that, thank you very much. You got it. Thank you very much. I was in Ensenada, Mexico for the Western Regions Conference, which was on a cruise ship. Yeah. And I ain't going to tell y'all it was Carnival because we don't have time for all that. But it continues to be an honor to serve alongside such passionate leaders on our national board and to represent the amazing alumni who make up our growing network of Tuskegee. Together, we are working to diligently support alumni, engage students, and uplift faculty that represent our beloved alma mater, Tuskegee University. So I want to share a few things with you in what we call the state of TNAA. All of you have received one of these in your packets. It's basically just like a year-end review. So there's some things in here. I'll be harassing Jerry in a little bit, trying to get some, where there's some page numbers, Jerry, just make sure we remind him. We have some things on page number. So we want to start with this. The Tuskegee National Alumni Association is strong. Y'all supposed to clap for that. If you didn't believe it was strong before an hour ago, you definitely know that it's strong because of the fantastic work that's been done by the Washington Tuskegee Alumni Club. Before you walk out the room, let's give it up for the president of the Washington Tuskegee Alumni Club. Every club cannot be Washington. All right, how many of y'all go to church? Y'all know I'm a Baptist preacher, so I'm gonna throw this out. How many of y'all go to church? All right, so what you do know from your experience in church is that every church is not the same size. right? So we're not trying to deal this based on size and numbers. We're dealing this based on the ability for us to galvanize the passion that is around us. And there is passion. That the music video makes it real clear. How do we transfer the passion of Tuskegee alum into the service back to Tuskegee? And that's what we're working to do with the Tuskegee National Alumni Association. We are working hard to make sure that we do some of the things that need to be done. My big concern as your 17th president is our infrastructure. Modernizing our infrastructure so that our organization will be more ready to move us into the next century. We are working to build, and you'll hear me say this a lot, we're trying to build an association that our children will be happy to inherit, not one that we have to make them inherit. Y'all need to take care of the National Association. We have been here next month on August 22nd. We will celebrate our 140th year as an alumni association. We have a work ethic that makes us the standard. I told you that when I go to UNCF conferences and deal with the HBCUs, Tuskegee is the standard because we have built an organization that is solid and robust and strong. But every single day, every single conference, every single convention, we are trying to make it better. So please remember this. All of us in this association, in this room, want what's best for Tuskegee. We may not always agree on what is best or how to do it, but we're all trying to move us forward. And in that respect, it's important for us to respect each other, to appreciate each other, to honor each other, and to give grace to one another. My idea is not always going to be the driving idea. Dr. Fleming made a very good point. Sometimes we'll say no, we'll say no, we'll say no, and then we say yes. And we try it and we find out that, hey, maybe it was a workable idea. But sometimes it's not. And so then we go and we change and we pivot. That's why we want to be nimble enough to do so. So I want to run through a few things that we've done in fall of 2024. I had my first meeting with Dr. Brown as my president, as his president. We both just started. And one of the things we did is that he had the SOS campaign to save our students. And so I took a check for $50,000 down, and another check for $44,000 came, and we gave $54,000 to that project from TNAA. Homecoming 2024 was epic. How many people was at Homecoming 2024? Yeah, epic. The lights were installed on the football, baseball, softball fields. We got a chance to see the light show if we wanted to. The TNAA executive board met, but we not only met, right? What we used to do is we used to meet on campus during homecoming for 2 straight days, from 8 in the morning to 4 in the evening. That means when everybody was on the yard at 12 o'clock on Friday, we were sitting in a cold room meeting. So last year when we decided to, we know it was worse. We were in Chappie James, and you know how cold Chappie James is. It has one setting, cold. So last year what we did, we had our meeting on Thursday, and Friday was our time to engage. It is time for us to be visible on the yard. It is time for us to let everyone know that the TNAA exists. Do you know that many people don't even know that we have a National Alumni Association? Right? That's one of the reasons why they're not participating. Some don't even know there is a National Alumni Association. There are local clubs, and it's our job to do what we need to do to make that visible. I'm going to try not to go back and forth with Washington, but those cards that he had, when you see someone and you say, hey, here's a card, one of the things we did during homecoming, I'm correct, is we passed out these cards, if you don't mind. Yes. We passed out these cards all over the yard, right? Basically, it just introduces TNAA, and it has a QR code so you can join TNAA. So our national structure is working, and everyone who joins TNAA on this code, that we get back to the locals and say, hey, we have somebody from your area who joined TNAA. That's one of the roles that we want to play to be more engaged, because I believe that the strength of our association is our what? That is true. That is true. Thank you. I appreciate that. Our clubs. Our clubs are the bread and butter of this association. That's where the hard work gets done. That's where the innovation comes from. That's where the people gather. Our whole point is to keep people engaged in our local areas so that when they get a letter from the university, they'll be much more willing to write that check because they're engaged in their part. And that's one of the things that the video was trying to share with us and teach us. So these cards were sent out were passed out. All of our executive board members are on campus speaking to their friends, passing them out, trying to increase our membership and trying to get our visibility up so that people will recognize that we are here and we are a force. Somebody said, what is the benefit of participation? One of the most important benefits of participation is you get information. You all know stuff now that people at home don't know about what's going to happen at homecoming. Y'all know that the answer is no. We know that already. We were told that, right? But by the same token, you also know that if you want to go to the investiture, the tickets are now available, that other people won't know until Monday, right? So participation comes with information. It also comes with engagement. The 100th homecoming broke records. 50,000 people on the campus of Tuskegee, largest gathering for homecoming of any college in the South. Oh, yeah, those are the people that turned in their tickets, right? So here's the interesting thing, right? And y'all know how that went. Anybody who was there, no. Everybody who, yeah. And then it was also on that day, the largest gathering in the South, anywhere. The little rodeo that tried to compete. No, let me stop. So we had a record attendance. You all know that in the middle of the night or somewhere later in the evening, we had the tragedy, the attack on our campus, which leads us into the Day of Healing. About a week later, I went down to the university and spoke at a Day of Healing for our students, for our faculty, for our staff, for our community. It was an amazing event. Our Sergeant at Arms, Glenn Person, did an amazing rendition of I Trust in God, right before I had a chance to share a message. But there were security updates immediately. The campus was shut down immediately, right? And as the campus reopened, it reopened as a closed campus as opposed to open campus. So that means you can no longer just walk on the campus of Tuskegee University. You can no longer just drive on the campus of Tuskegee University. You have to have been vetted in some shape, form, or fashion. These are the ID tags that our staff now wears. Staff and students get these ID cards. They're able to tap themselves into the gates, or they're able to show it to security when they go into the gates. All right, so all of the gates, if you try to go to Logan Hall, you remember how those little gates, all of those gates are now secure. So I don't know what Dr. Brown will be here in a few minutes. He can tell you what the plans are for homecoming in terms of how to get in and out. But I'm presuming that basically there'll be metal detectors at all of those walk-through entrances, which would allow us access to the campus. The goal is not to keep us off campus. TNAA in the Bay. Y'all forgive my vernacular up there. Amazing time. Anybody who went to San Francisco for the HBCU Classic? It was amazing. It was amazing because it was Tuskegee at its best. We had a welcome party with Foot Locker. They came in, man. They brought the Tuskegee band and players, and they brought the Morehouse band and players, and they all came in. So Morehouse came, man, it was sad. Morehouse came in, I don't even know, they came in with some song like, dang, it was so drudge. They were just like, and I was like, it's one of the songs we sing in church, like at funerals or something. And it was like, I'm like, why are they doing this to enter? They came in on that, but you know Tuskegee came in on Ball and Parlay. The place was lit. Tuskegee alumni all over the Foot Locker building. They had a 3-story building, Tuskegee alumni all up in there. Then we hosted a pep rally at the hotel. Dr. Brown was like, well, man, you should have seen them when they were putting up extra tables because they had packed out that ballroom. Tuskegee was in the house. And when we got to that stadium, the NBA expected 6,500 people. That was their break even. Right? The year before, I think they had Southern or somebody else, they had 95. We had 22,000 people in that stadium. And when they said, hey, Morehouse, stand up and make yourself be known, it was like, yeah, pretty much like that. It was that. But when they said Tuskegee, show up and make yourself, man, that stadium erupted. Because we travel, we support our university, and that's the thing I want us never to forget. We have some of the most passionate alumni. Our job is just to siphon that passion into our local clubs and into our regions and into our national association, so that as we embrace the university and the world, we embrace them with the power of the numbers that represent who we really are. Show them who you are. And that's our challenge and our goal. And so the last thing I'll say about that is that we helped the Bay Area Club to host a victory party. So we had a victory party in the Bay, sold out the victory party, had the event, man, it was a blast. Dr. Brown was there, his wife was there, pictures on page what? Pictures on page 11 and 12. Check out some of the pictures. It was amazing. And you know what the most important part was? When we left the Bay Area Club with over $5,000 for their scholarship, which is on campus. Their scholarship is on campus, right? Why is their scholarship on campus? Because everyone who gives to that scholarship is now registered as a donor to the university, which is what we're trying to do, is increase our donor participation numbers, especially among our alumni. So we had QR codes on all the tables at the club, at the event space. We had QR codes even on the bar, right? So while you wait for your drink, you can do a little donation. Hey, I'm sorry, you gotta use what you got, right? And not only were they able to raise $5,000, but now we got new donors into our donor base. So we expect our numbers for next year to be better than they were the year before. The UNCF Leadership Conference, TNAA members are all in that conference. The national president for the Pre-Alumni Council last year was Kayla Thompson, who was a Tuskegee student. She graduated this year. And again, Tuskegee is the standard. All right, there are a couple of pictures of Tuskegee debated. Look at that. Do you see those Tuskegee people? Do you see the rest of the UNCF? First of all, where is Tuskegee sitting? All them people on the front rows from Tuskegee, right? And so they do a little count to see who has the most people. We actually came in second. There was one person that had more than us, but they had like 34, and we had like 32 or 33 or something like that, right? But it was amazing. Founders Day, we raised a record $1.3 million. Now, y'all, we need to work hard to beat that next year, because a lot of that came from an individual gift, but it was a blessing. The executive board, again, we met, had engagement on campus. The TUBE conference was on campus, which began by our alumni coming in, working with our students, having our students to prepare and present their own conference for business and engineering students. And so they highlight the best business student of the year, the top engineering student of the year, and the top professors in business and engineering. 2025 commencement, 550 graduates. Now, I have something I'm going to share with you. Correction, let me use the right word. I have something I'm going to show you. This is a coin that President Brown gave to all of the graduates in 2025. All the graduates received this commemorative coin. I'm going to put it in the hands of your director, and she's going to pass it around so everybody can touch and feel. Because unless you have a graduate, you won't get to touch and feel it. But because you're participating, one of the benefits you get is to touch and feel the coin that everybody's been asking me for. Now, here's the most important thing. The most important thing is that by the time we get over to Sister Richardson, right, I would like to have that coin back. Because the goal is for me to take it to the North Central region and to the Southwestern region so they can get to touch it as well. We generally do something for our graduates. So we gave each graduate, we put on each of the chairs during rehearsal, a graduate's pin, young alumni pin, and one of these cards. So they can register for the alumni. Again, your first year of membership with TNAA is free, and so they were able to do that. Adrian and Gaynell were there with me. When I gave my remarks at the rehearsal, right before the tea, I shared with the graduates that anyone who scanned those cards and registered that day would receive a TNAA t-shirt. Yeah, y'all, we have a TNAA t-shirt. Oh my gosh. We don't have any more, but we're gonna get some more. But you can get one, you can get one, you can get one. But we passed out 98, Adrian? We passed out 98 t-shirts. Yeah, we passed out 98 t-shirts that day. So at the end of the day, it was really, really good. We had a great opportunity. They loved those t-shirts. They were running around campus with the t-shirts afterwards. It was just amazing. I'm like, oh, do you want to add anything else? Since, you know, Washington Club, y'all saw their boxes? Amazing, 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 amazing. Dr. Dana Fuller, who is the president of the Tuskegee National Alumni Association, she did the oath of office at the professional graduation, and then, of course, I did the oath of office, alumni oath, and then, of course, I did it at the undergraduate commencement. All right. Did I miss anything so far? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh, you're asking me, were they all at the commencement? No, I don't know how many marched. There were 550 who graduated. I don't know how many people actually, but we'll tell you this. Now, I don't know the answer, but I'm hearing some people say yes. I hear some people say yes. We had one of the largest freshman classes last year, and we had over 1,000. They have in June when I was in the Western Conference, they had already had 1,000 students pay their deposits. Now, of course, all of them ain't gonna make it through, but they're expecting another large class this year. Our recruiting office is doing a great job, and of course, our alumni do a great job supporting our recruiting office. So give yourselves a hand on that. No, it's both graduate and undergraduate, yes, sir. All right. Regional, professional, and club development. One of the things that we are working to do is to provide the support necessary for regional club and professional club development. We want to strengthen every single one of our clubs. Every one of our clubs are not going to be as strong as Washington, but we are hoping that they will learn something from Washington. So I haven't gotten Marcus and Adrian's permission yet. You know where I'm going with this. But I am going to ask them if they will come to Memphis and make this presentation to our clubs in Memphis. And I have asked Jerry to make sure that we schedule it so that after they make their presentation, the clubs will then, club presidents particularly, will have time to interact and engage to talk about the development of their clubs. The regions will have time to engage and talk about the development of their regions, and then I don't know what we'll do with everybody else in that session, but you know, I ain't trying to run the conference, ain't my job. So, all right, but we're doing, we have engaged. We did engage with Raleigh-Durham, and we're bringing them back online. They made a request to come back into TNAA. For those of you all who don't know, they had stepped away and stopped paying their TNAA dues. So we're working with them to get them back on track. We're working to strengthen and reestablish the Charlotte Club, Central Florida, Selma, Black Belt. And I told Can I just finish? Can I just finish? Okay. Selma Black Belt, because I'll forget what I'm saying. So, your regional director has challenged Richmond, so we're going to support the development of Richmond as well. And then also, I told you I went to Omaha. Did I tell you that? Some of y'all? So I went to Omaha for the American Baptist Convention, biennial convention in Omaha on 4th of July weekend. Y'all know how terrified I was. But when I got to Omaha, it was nice, they were friendly, and you know the 13% blacks in Omaha? I know. And guess what else I found in Omaha? Tuskegee graduates having a 4th of July barbecue in Omaha, Nebraska. And so I just put up that Baptist finger and tipped away from the conference and went over to hang out with my Tuskegeans. There are about 12 Tuskegeans in Omaha, Nebraska who want to start a club, and we're going to work with them to make sure that they get to start a club in Omaha, Nebraska. So the idea is we want to help not only to strengthen the clubs that exist, but to help those areas that have Tuskegeans to build out clubs and then to be supportive of our clubs so that our clubs don't do this all the time, right? And so one of the things we've been trying to do is we're trying on the national level send names to people, to clubs. Memphis, for example, small club, but they're the host for the national convention. Right? And they're like, I don't know how we got chosen, but do we have to? I'm like, well, we come to Memphis. And so we're working with them to develop their club. Onisha Hall is the president, and she's been working really, really hard. So we're helping to build their club and sharing information with them about people in that area, but also sharing information about how to strengthen their club. Yes, ma'am.
Why has North Carolina gotten out of the association? How many people? I know I can imagine there's a lot of people
in Raleigh-Durham.
Yeah, and
I think it was.
And I'm just talking about not so much there, but also Charlotte. Between Charlotte and Durham and Raleigh, it seems like there would be a lot of.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't understand. Why did they get out of do they have a club there?
Okay, I got you.
Do they have local clubs there? And why did they get out of the association?
Okay, so the answer to your question is, her question is, do they have a club? Why did they get out? Raleigh-Durham had a disagreement. I think that, I don't know how in 2018, and they stopped paying their national dues. Right? So they still have a club, but they withdrew from TNAA. So now they're coming back to TNAA, so they have to go through the reactivation process. Charlotte, the president moved, and it just did like a lot of clubs do. When the president moved, it just died. Huge number of people in Charlotte. So we have a group of people in Charlotte who are working, right? We just have to make sure they work they get, and that's what I'm saying about it's so important for us to keep conversation with each other. So that, because they're not the first club that's done that. You know, I think y'all heard me say before, back when I was coming up, Detroit was like, they were a premier club. I got you, but it's not. My point is, to your point. I mean, I'm not trying to debate why. My point is, it's not that nobody who went to Tuskegee is in Detroit. And usually it's an issue of leadership. Once the leadership leaves, it makes it hard. And so it's important for us to support, particularly young people who take over clubs. Because a lot of times, young people who take over clubs, and dare I say churches, folks start drifting away. They trying to change what we do. But if we don't change what we do, because think about this, how many of y'all 5 years ago would have been supporting a rap video coming out of Washington? Y'all would have been like, oh my gosh, you're ghettoizing Tuskegee, right? But right now, everybody's like, whoa! You know, I'm just saying, we have to be very honest about being open and receptive when we bring in new ideas, younger people, and new concepts, and that's going to help us an awful lot, all right? When it comes to fundraising and the Parade of Clubs, we've done some work to revamp the Parade of Clubs. The Parade of Clubs is a TNAA initiative. Started in this region, right, by Willie Shellman, correct? Correct. You know, I'll mess up some names. So what happens is that we have obfuscated a lot of responsibility to the university, and that has taken away the ability of us to be able to do what it is we're trying to do. And so what we're trying to do now is to reframe it in a way that it does what it needs to do, and we raise the money that we want to raise, and that we support our university the way we support it, right? One of the things about Tuskegee TNAA is that TNAA, we don't raise money. Our job is we don't fundraise for TNAA. We fundraise for Tuskegee University. So if you notice when we do the parade of clubs, we do our fundraising events, our checks go to Tuskegee University and not to TNAA. TNAA operates off of our dues. That's our operational budget, right? So that helps us to do things like assist the regions and putting on these clubs and to assist in development of our clubs, right? Yes, sir. That's a conversation I was going to have with the president later on. So, Mr. President, since he just threw it out there right behind you as you walked in the room, we haven't had this conversation. Tuskegee National Alumni Association. Oh, okay. I'm going to state it. Tuskegee National Alumni used to receive, has always received a stipend from the university. No, sir. You're right. It's not true. It ain't always. But my point is, over the past few years, we received a stipend. So your point is well taken. It's not always. There was a period of time. When was that?
It's been 40 years.
Yeah. So it was a period of time that Dr. Payton began to offer stipend to TNA to help support us because we are not raising money for ourselves. So at the end of the day, I really don't want to dispute the history with you. I'm just trying to lay out a point. The point I'm making is that we had been receiving a stipend. A couple of years ago, we did not receive the stipend from the university, and the question is, will we begin to receive that stipend again? I haven't had that conversation with the president, but that was the question that he asked. Once I have that conversation with the president, we'll make that decision. Oh, he'll make that decision. So we haven't gotten it in the past 2 years, yes. Yeah, past 2 years we haven't gotten it. Thank you, that's a good question. All right, what did I miss on the fundraising? Yes, I did. I know I missed something. All right, so eminent associates. I asked yesterday how many people were eminent associates. How many people are eminent associates? You can raise your hand again. I'm sorry that I didn't hear that.
It's hard to get information out that much extended. It's not been coming back to say you can go in the future. Send applications, but nothing is back.
Okay, so my response to you is, in terms of follow-up, is A.L. Fleming. Well, Dr. Fleming said check with him, and he would follow through for you. Right? So A.L. Fleming at Tuskegee.edu. Dr. Fleming has already asked that if you let him know, he would get that on track for us to make sure you get your. So I prefer to just follow his direction. And right.
But the credentials.
Ooh, I only got 5 minutes.
Let me just explain the PLPN and the certificate would come from.
Yes. So all of the stuff comes from Eminent Associates President Lula Marable, right? So then again, the Eminent Associates program is a TNAA program that we started to allow our alumni to be consistent givers. The idea is it creates a batch of consistent givers. The initial is $1,500. You can do $500. It's $1,500 now. It's $500 over the course of 3 years. So every year you get $500. If you have given $1,500 in the past 3 years, they will go back and track that, and that will put you. And as you continue to give, your status goes up from eminent associate to presidential to silver, and ultimately you get to the founder status. But that's when you're giving the big money. All right, I got to run because apparently I ran out of time. So communication technology, we're trying to do a better job of communicating. Again, that goes back to our infrastructure development. The other thing is Constitution and bylaws redraft. Again, that goes to our structure. Our Constitution is raggedy, so the biennial convention, The body voted to redraft the Constitution. It'll be presented in 2026 as a document to vote up or vote down, right? And not to go page by page. Next steps. Jerry is doing all the work he can to get our 2022 biannual national convention. It's going to be in Memphis, Tennessee. We're working harder to integrate our young alumni into the fold. I'm going away from the model where there is a young alumni group over here trying to do stuff, but we want to integrate our young alumni. So if you are, don't beat me up, but I'm just going to ask the question, right? If you're under 40 in here, raise your hand. No, I mean like really under 40. It kills me when our churches do that. I'd be like, if you're a teenager and folks raising their hand, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase the number of people who come to our conferences and conventions so that they will be, credentialed enough to actually run for national office. So we don't want to just have alumni group over there trying to pull alumni together. No, we want to have alumni integrate. Let me tell you why. A lot of the stuff we're trying to figure out how to do, they already know. We're trying to figure out in our clubs how to do online giving or electronic giving and stuff. But if you ask them to give, they're going to tell you, I'll Zelle you, I'll Venmo you, I'll Cash App, right? And so then they'll show you how to set it up so you'll get it. And you'll be able to do that in a moment, in an instant, in that meeting, something that you thought you had to go out and find a scientist to figure out for you. So again, we talked about growing our clubs and associations, and we talked about better engagement. The last thing I think it's the last thing on my screen. Yes, the last thing, huh? Oh, you know I am. The last thing I want to tell you, a year ago, when I became president, I wanted a TNAA shirt, but I didn't know where to find a TNAA shirt, and I didn't have page what? 17. On page 17, I didn't know where to find a TNAA shirt because I didn't have somebody to embroider it for me. And you know I didn't want a patch. What we have done since then, part of the relationship, hanging out with the people at the UNCF conference, one of the other National Alumni Associations says we have a gear store. We talked to the individual who runs their gear store, and this year we launched the TNAA Gear Store. TNAAgearstore.com. The t-shirt that I mentioned, that t-shirt right there, I don't know how to make the point, but that t-shirt, you can order from the TNAA Gear Shop. This shirt was ordered from the TNAA Gear Shop. The shirt that Jerry has on. I got me one of those little white cups so I can drink my cold water at my office. And so all of this is available to you. And what we've done is we worked a relationship with the individual, so we do get a percentage of the sales back to TNAA as passive income to help us with our operations, right? But here's what's very important about that. We're not responsible for the shipping. We're not responsible for sending it back when you don't like it. We're not responsible for all of that heavy lifting. We let the professionals do that, and we just benefit, right? Yes, sir.
You know what the percentage is, sir?
Yeah, I do, 25%.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
It's an opportunity to possibly expand.
Yes, sir.
Stand that.
So number one, these are not the only options on the website now, but we are going to continue to add options because fashions are going to change, styles are going to change. And to your point, to the question you didn't ask, which I know somebody's going to ask, we are going to work to see if we can't add the regional logos on there as well. So that it would expand the ability for you to get that as well. Yep. And there's decent quality stuff, which is the blessing. So just remember this. This is what we do. That's your national board. Outside the chapel, after our visit, I didn't mention it, but when we came down for Founders Day, we got participation gets you benefits. So only the executive board was taken in for a tour of the newly renovated chapel during Founders Day. And so we got a chance to see the newly renovated chapel and take pictures in the chapel and sing some old Golden Voices songs. And this is outside the chapel, this is the executive board, right? But what do? Alumni, what we do is we recruit great students. We raise money to keep them there. And we represent Tuskegee around the world. The 3 R's, my 3 R's. That's why I was laughing yesterday when you came with yours. On Facebook this morning, the regional director from the West posted about a trip he just took from New York down to D.C. And he was talking about he had on his Tuskegee gear, and this guy stopped him and began to engage him, which goes back to the cards that Marcus was talking about. Everywhere you go, that happens. We were on the cruise ship with the Western Conference. The guy from the Philippines said, Tuskegee? First of all, I'm surprised he knew how to pronounce Tuskegee. But he knew Tuskegee. We are a global brand. We represent that global brand. And it's incumbent upon us to keep building brick by brick the legacy of Tuskegee. It's our time, and we need to pass some of that on to the students, to the young alumni who are coming behind us. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Oh, the date of the National Convention. The National Convention is July 30th through August 2nd. It's not up there? All right, it's on the back of your, it's on the back of this book. It's July 30th through August 2nd, 2026 in Memphis, Tennessee. And we had over 285 people. We had over 285 people engage in the development of our theme, which is Tuskegee Rising, honoring a legacy shaping our future. So that's been amazing to have that many people engaged in developing our theme. That means we're on the right track and we're headed in the right direction. Again, I close with where I started. The Tuskegee National Alumni Association is strong. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Dr. Brown, I've been going across the,